Hey, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I want to welcome you to the Jolly Good News Report for this beautiful day that the Lord has made. And I am so grateful and glad that we are part of it, that we get to see it. So let me tell you about this week's Jolly Good News Report. First, I want to thank you for joining us. Second, I want to ask you to do me a favor. I want you to like it and share it. Like it and share it. And then send some smiley faces. Tell your friends to tune in. And if you have the opportunity, share it with others in your network. Now, I am excited about this week because this is part 2 of a series. Last week, I did a different Jolly Good News Report. I took an interview that I had been asked to do with Tim Shore, and it was just a great experience for me to do it. And he just was over the top about the response he had been getting from people all over the world to the interview. And so I said, wow, that's great. I want to share it with my folks at my Jolly Good News Report. He said, sure. So that is what we're doing. We're sharing it with you. And I think you'll enjoy the second half. Last week, the response we got from the first half was outstanding. And so this week, we want to share the second half. Let me know what you think, how you liked it. Would you do that? Okay, so here we go with part 2 of this interview I did with Tim Shore on how to use godly, biblically based principles to live a great life, to live your dreams, and to have greater success, not just now, but you're here today about for your legacy, your lineage, and your historical content and impact. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Let's jump right back in to the second half of this great interview with Tim Shore.
Wow. So good. And so relatable.
Yeah.
Because it's authentic. It's real. No one wants to hear about how somebody's life is perfect because we're all struggling. No matter what we have, we got some things that we finally have figured out how to get together, and then something else unravels. And that's kind of how life is. And if you can have a sense of humor about it and continue to say, all right, well, what are we going to do with it? And what's the outcome that we want? And how can we take one step towards it, try to make it better? You know, that's really at the end of the day what it's all about. That's what personal development is all about. I think so many people don't really understand what self-help is. And so they don't trust it, or they think that, oh, you're just lying to yourself. And that's really not what it is. So do you have a couple of tips or ideas if somebody's struggling right now and they're not sure what to do? Maybe they've been on furloughed or lost part of their income, or they're not sure what's going to happen next in the world. What are some tips for how to make that comeback?
Yeah, you know, you're absolutely right. This is a very challenging time that we've all been impacted, and even Michelle Obama, who had the biggest concert speaking tour in America last year, filling up arenas, and she's former first lady, and got a #1 selling best-selling book, and
yeah, she's incredible.
And even she would say, I'm suffering from low-grade depression with all that she got going on. And so think about the people who've lost their jobs, wondering how they're going to pay their rent, who want to work but can't because the jobs have been, not available, or people who are going through a tough time, or somebody might be struggling with the illness. So here's what or lost somebody through the illness. Whatever your setback is, I want to go back to a couple of things. One, about your faith. My faith is a powerful part of my life, and that in the sense that I expect good to come from my actions. So that means I got to act. Faith without works is dead. And so you must act on your faith. You must pursue with faith and get up with an expectation. Now, how do you do that in a time where you might be depressed? Well, I'm encouraging people to do a couple things. One, you've got to get some routines. One of the things I encourage people to do is, one, every morning, here's my routine. When my eyes open up, Tim, when my eyes open up, I'm in the bed, I literally verbally say thank you. Woo, thank you. I got another one. I got another one. I don't take every day. I don't take a day for granted. So I wake up and say, wow, thank you. Okay. Now I go to the bathroom and I come back and I have a moment of prayer and thank God for life and strength. I ask him to bless me today and bless my family, put a hedge around them, keep them from hurt, harm, and danger. And then I take some physical activity, Tim. Something. I got to do something. I whether either take a walk, take a bike ride, do some kind of activity, even if it's raining and storming, I'll walk up and down the steps. Get some physical activity because that releases endorphins into your bloodstream. And you need those endorphins because they're like natural uppers. They are natural positive pills that are inside of you. But you got to release them by your activity. And then I read or listen to something positive every day. I listen to something positive every day. Now, thank God, now you're going to say, this is going to sound crazy, but I'm on radio across America on the Radio 1 network every morning at 8:20 on Get Up Mornings with Erica Campbell. It's at 8:20. I turn on the radio. I listen to me. Talk to me. Okay. But let's say you're not in the market. If you go to winwithwillie.com, if you'll just go to winwithwillie.com, you'll be able to sign up because now, since the pandemic, now the last 6 months, every day, not only do I have the daily radio on radio stations across America, but I got a video version of it that I send out on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and on my newsletter. So if you go to winwithwillie.com, you'll get sign up and you get it sent to you. And it's a 1-minute motivational message. It will inspire you. It will encourage you. It will uplift you. So now you got the physical activity. You got some positive for your body. You got some mental activity. You got some spiritual activity. Had a word of prayer. Thank God for the day. And then you got some mental acuity activity. And then I go back and revisit my goals. Why am I doing this? What am I up for? Why am I here? And I said, okay, I got some goals. I want to make sure. Here's what I want to make sure, Tim. Someone asked me in an interview on a radio show, Willie Jolley, what's your biggest goal? I didn't have to think about it, Tim. I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to think about it not 1 minute. I said, my biggest goal, oh, that's easy. I know that clear as a bell. My biggest goal is that 100 years from now, some kid will walk into a room and see a picture of me and my wife and walk up to that picture and kiss it and say, thank you, great, 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 great granddaddy, great, 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 great grandmama for what you did back in 2020, 2021, 2022, 23 to make it possible for us to have a business, a home, an opportunity to go to college, a legacy that you left. That's my biggest goal. Now, here's the thing, Tim. I'll never see it. But that's my goal. And see, Scripture says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's grandchildren. That's my goal. So I reread my goals. What are my goals? How do I make it possible for that kid 100 years from now to have a home? Okay, I got to work. I got to go to work. Because it's really not about me. See, I read somewhere that the great ones plant trees that take 80 years to grow when they're 80 years old. Mm. Okay, they'll never sit under that tree, but they plant it at 80 years old. And so that's what I'm encouraging the viewers, the listeners, the people who are on this. If you're going to make a difference, don't think just today. Don't even think tomorrow. Think 100 years out. What kind of impact you can have. Because it's important. It's important because many people don't know much about their great-great-grandparents. They know they were here. They might know their name, but they don't know much about them. I want to make sure that they know who I was, what I did, and how I was thinking about them. I was loving on them 100 years earlier. So that's my goal. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I do every day. That's how I get going.
I need to up my goals. Come on. Jeez. Well, I will tell you what, I'm going to subscribe to that Win with Willie right now, winwithwillie.com, as soon as we're done, because I would love that. I mean, oh my goodness. Wow.
Oh, when you go there, by the way, you get to see the song I put out too, called We'll Get Through This. And people can see that during the pandemic. I just decided to do a music video. I'd never done a music video before, Tim. Because when I was in a music video, there was no such thing as the internet. There was no such thing as the music videos. I was in the music business 35 years ago. So I did my first music video while the pandemic on my iPhone and my iPad. That's what, this was the whole production of my whole music video, those two things. And what that goes back to is those principles of being creative, being proactive, taking action before you're ready. Just go with what you got. Go with the best you got and keep trying. So I'm excited about it.
Oh, that is very exciting. I remember the last time you and I were in the same room together was in Indianapolis, and it was a few years ago, and Dee was with us as well. And I remember you were teaching a group of speakers how to thrive in the business, and then someone asked you if you would sing. And I'm like, oh no, it was kind of audacious, but you know, you're kind of famous for singing. And so, and you did. Yeah. And after you were done, every one of us in the room was like, well, I hope we don't ever have to compete against this guy. That's just ridiculous. That's too much talent. He's cheating.
Oh, bless your heart. So, thank you, Tim.
It was so good. So, you know, you've been around the world. You've impacted so many people. I always like to ask these questions. What was one of the coolest experiences that you've had?
Man, let me tell you one that really impacted me tremendously. I was in Japan. Second tour of Japan for the U.S. Marines. It was a high security time. So they were doing extra special or extra level security checking. I'm with a group of people. We're going through a security check onto the base through this building. We're going to building, and everybody put their passport through, and they wait 30 seconds, 60 seconds, and they either, okay, you're good. It's passed. Everybody, and then I get to me. They get to me. I gave my passport. They push it through. And I'm ready to go, and they say, excuse me, sir, we need you to stand to the side. What? We need you to stand to the side. Why? Sir, please stand to the side. And out came these two security guards with guns, the helmets, those hard helmets, MPs. And they said, are you Mr. Jolley? Yeah. William Jolley? Well, that's on my passport. Yeah. We need to see you in the back. What did I do? What's wrong? Sir, we just need you to come with us to the back. Oh my. So I go down this long corridor, and I get to a room that has a sign on it, Commandant, Commander of the base. Oh man, what's going on here? I walk in, and a big leather chair was facing outside the window. It spins around, and there's an African-American guy, kind of young, not maybe in his 30s, said, sir, I was sitting here at my desk, and I see the different people go by, and I saw yours. And it said, William Jolley, Washington, D.C. And I wondered if that's Willie Jolley. Are you Willie Jolley? I said, yeah, I'm Willie Jolley. My real name is William, but everybody called me William. Yeah, I'm Willie. He said, are you Willie Jolley? It says from Washington, D.C. Are you Willie Jolley from Washington, D.C., who's the motivational speaker? Yeah. Are you Willie Jolley, the motivational speaker who came to Archbishop Carroll High School in 1993?
No.
And gave a speech to the young people there. Yes, I'm that Willie Jolley. And you're probably the Willie Jolley from Washington, D.C., the motivational speaker who came to Archbishop Carroll in 1993, who told a story about his two friends and how one made a decision to sell drugs, one made a decision to be an athlete and then go to college. And how this one went to jail and this one became wealthy. Yes. He said, sir, I was in that class that day. I was in the 11th grade. I was in a gang. I was on drugs. I was doing bad stuff. I was from a single parent household. I was messing up. And that message that day changed my life. He said, sir, I never thought I'd be able to meet you. And I asked you to back here because I just wanted to take a moment to thank you. From that day, I changed my life, went home, told my mama I was going to change my life. And I went back to school the next day, changed. My grades came up for 11th grade year. And in the 12th grade, I got an ROTC. And by the end of the 12th grade, I got a scholarship to West Point. And then I went to West Point and went to officer training school. And now I'm the commander of this base. It's because of that one day. And here's where it got really weird. Now, it's weird already. He went in his wallet, Tim. He pulled out a card that was plastic wrapped with the notes he had taken that day. That was one that will go down. I remember it forever.
Wow.
Remember forever.
That is insane how impactful that is. I mean, at that moment, you've won. I mean, everything else that you ever experience is just a bonus to have that kind of impact.
That's correct. So I'm very grateful. I'm grateful. You know what, Tim? I'm grateful to that guy who fired me in the nightclub. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for that fella. You know, I'm grateful for him. So,
wow. So last question for you then, although I could ask you questions forever because I love your stories. So if you could go back with all the wisdom you have, all this experience that you have, if you could go back to when you were 10 and talk to 10-year-old Willie, what advice would you give him?
Oh, man, that's a great question, man. That's a great question. The 10-year-old Willie, I'd say, Willie, listen to your mama. I really would. Now, my
That's
dad,
sage advice there. That's good advice.
Believe it or not, my dad died when I was 13. So I would say, of course, we listen to both your parents.
Yeah.
But my mom, my mother, after my dad died, she really worked hard to put my brother and I through college. And she gave us sage advice I didn't always listen to. And in retrospect, I should have listened to my mother-in-law. She was always my biggest champion. She was always my biggest supporter. So I would say, listen to your mother. She's going to give you good advice. Follow her plan for your life. In my marriage book, we talk about marriage and the difference between Eastern marriage and Western marriages. And East Indians, their parents choose who they're going to marry. Versus Western marriages, you choose who you're going to marry. Well, we got a 50% divorce rate in America. Versus in East India, it's a 3% divorce rate. Because they say that they start off cold and warm up over time. Versus us who start off hot and cool off over time. Now, thank God, my wife and I have not cooled off. We're still hot. I got the hots for it. But but majority of the people cool off. But here's the lesson, Tim. If the parents choose, it's because they know you better than you know yourself. Now, am I subscribing to that? I know I'm not subscribing. I'm just choosing. I'm using that as a metaphor that my mother knew me. And if I would listen to her, she would have given me wise counsel. She always supported me. She let me do my dream, but there were little things that she would tell me to do. Stay away from these type of people. Don't do that. Don't hang with those type. So I listened to a lot of it. She was big on education. I went through college and then went on to get my master's. And she'd be very proud now because 7 years ago now, I stopped speaking for a year. I shut it down and went back and got my doctorate. And it was tough. She would be so proud. But that was one of the things I tell my 10-year-old Willie. The other thing I tell my 10-year-old Willie is to really work hard in school. Man, I did okay in school, but I didn't do as best I could have done. But they're a benefit for scholastic achievement. And last thing I think I tell 10-year-old Willie is never compromise your integrity. Now, I think I've done that, but there were times at a 10-year-old where I got spankings because I lied. I lied about this, I lied. Never compromise your integrity. Just never do it, because that's the one thing that will always pave a path for you, your excellence and your integrity. Yeah. And so I learned it over years, but if I'd known that then, I might have been even better. So I'm very grateful. But that's a great question. Thank you for asking it. That made me think about my parents and my mom and the lessons she taught me.
That's wonderful. So have you taken that advice and put it into your relationship with Dee? Because it's amazing that you said that we haven't had an argument in like 33 years. And
yeah,
I've had two today.
We, as I said, mentors and mistakes. When we were struggling, we went to see people who've been married 40, 50, and 60 years and said, what's the secret? And they would tell us these secrets that we put in the book, the 10 principles for creating a great marriage. And they gave us those principles, and we just started employing them. We started embracing them.
Yeah.
And that's what's really the secret is, been that we embrace what we learned, and then we put in the book what we learned, and people now, others, are embracing it and are thriving in their marriages. So yeah, the answer is yes. It didn't come from my mother per se. The only part of the whole marriage book I talk about my mother is what do you do when you don't know what to do? Okay. And my mother used to say, when you don't know what to do, pray. Pray for wisdom. Pray for wisdom, and God will give you the answer if you pray. And so that's one of the things I've done over the years. But other than that, my mom never remarried after my dad died, and she was always a virtuous woman and someone who always put us first. So, hey, I'm very grateful. Dee and I are doing great. We got the Monday. Look, I want to invite people to Monday night, 9 o'clock, Facebook Live, Willie.Jolley. Happily Married Monday with the Jollies every Monday night at 9 o'clock. And now we're putting it on IG as well. You follow me on IG, you'll get it on IG, Instagram. So Monday night, 9 o'clock. Monday through Friday, you get the 1-minute video sent to you if you go to winwithwillie.com, or you can listen on radio. My XM show comes on every Saturday at 4 o'clock on channel 141. It re-airs Tuesday at 6 p.m. and Thursday at 6 p.m. It re-airs twice, and every week I have the best and the brightest thought leaders. But let's say you don't have XM, no worry, no problem. You can go to my podcast where we take the XM show, put it right on the podcast on iHeartRadio, C-Suite Radio, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, and Apple Podcasts, the Willie Jolley Wealth Ways podcast. Then on Saturday morning, it's the Jolly Good News Report at 10 o'clock Eastern time on my Jolly Good News Facebook page, where I give you nothing but good news for a half hour. So in a time of bad news, sad news, depressing news, I'm going to give you nothing but good news. So that's my message. That's what I do. Every week we got stuff going out. We got marketed messages. We got everything we're doing as much as we can to help people through this tough time.
And there you go. We will have all those links in our show notes. Dr. Willie Jolley.
I got a last message for you. Last message for you.
Lay it on me.
This is my new favorite piece that I've been sharing with my radio audience to get them through this tough time. As we go through this tough time, there are two creatures you can choose which one you're going to model. There's an ostrich and there's an eagle. Now, the ostrich in the crisis moments of life and tough times, sticks its head in the ground, and it says, wake me when it's over. The eagle, on the other hand, does something very odd. It takes flight and flies right into the face of the storm. It struggles, it fights, it pursues to get through that storm, and then it gets above the storm and is able to see the panoramic view of the environment. And it says, wow, you're right there. Wow, there's a big problem right there right now. Wow. But I'm looking up the road. There's good up the road. There's good up the road. Keep going, keep fighting, keep striving. There's good up the road. Folks, Tim is bringing the best and the brightest to you because he wants you to know to keep moving, be mesmerizing, don't stop, make a difference because there's good up the road. God bless you. May heaven smile upon you. Thank you for having me on. It's been a privilege and a pleasure, a treat and a treasure, and a joy beyond measure. Hey, well, I hope you enjoyed that interview. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed watching it again. I enjoyed it. I said, wow, that was good. You know, sometimes things will come out of my mouth that I said, where did that come from? Where did that come from? And you know what I realized? It didn't come from me. It came through me. And I give God the glory. I talk about my books, Setback and Set Up for a Comeback specifically. That book did not come from me. It came through me. And I tell people because it has had such a profound impact on lives around the world. People have bought it in multitudes of different languages, and some buy bulk copies for all of their family members. In fact, I recommend that if you want to get your family members some good gifts this year that will impact their lives, particularly in these times of setbacks, get them some copies of A Setback, Set Up for a Comeback. In fact, if you get them from my office, I'll be happy to sign them. So just call my office at 202-723-8863 and order a copy of the book, or just send us an email at info@williejolly.com and someone will call you. info@williejolly.com or 202-723-8863. So I hope you enjoyed that program. I hope you enjoyed last week. If you didn't see last week, you want to go back and look at it and listen to the messaging, because it's one of those times where I know with the Lord, God speaking through me to reach you with a powerful, positive, uplifting, and impactful message. So that's my time. My time is up, and I want to thank you for your time. And I want to encourage you to do what we've been asking everybody to do. Like it, share it, and share this with everybody in your network. That the Jolly Good News Report every Saturday morning is something that will lift you in these times when it's so depressing and so much bad news. We're going to give you some jolly good news. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Have a great day, great week on purpose. And remember, your best is still yet to come. God bless you.